In today's video, I'll show you how to create sphere and vortex photos using your drone. I'll cover the best angles to capture them, how to export from your drone to mobile, and how to edit without a PC. This is my fourth drone tutorial in the series. If you find the video useful, please like and subscribe. Welcome, thanks for joining me. Today I'm heading to Beeleigh Falls, a few miles west of Malden. This is where the fresh waters of the Chelmer meet the tidal salt waters of the estuary. This location did feature briefly on my time travel tutorial, which I'll link at the end of the video. I've chosen to fly the DJI Air 3 today. I usually prefer the Mini 3 Pro for sphere photographs, as it is capable of tilting the gimbal straight up. However, there is a weather warning across Essex today, and I've opted for stability instead, and the small area that the Air 3 will miss can be fixed in the edit. Let's get the drone up and start the first phase of the process. Point the gimbal straight down and choose a central focus point. It doesn't need to be lined up precisely, but try to get it as close as you can. On the mode options, scroll down to the bottom and select Pano, and the first option will be Sphere. I'll just check the exposure by rotating the drone. It's currently one stop under normal exposure, which looks good. When you are happy, press the Take Photo button and the drone will take the 33 photos to make the sphere. Once it's completed the rotation, it will still need to process the shots. It should be at 50% complete when it stops filming. Whilst processing, you can still move the drone and rotate the gimbal, but all capture modes will be locked until it reaches 100%. For the next shot, I'm bringing the drone down to beneath the height of the trees. This is to illustrate a different look to the normal smooth spheres, and I'll explain more in the edit. At this point, I could see the weather turning in the distance over Malden and Heybridge, so I'll grab one more before I need to land and take cover. Because of the clouds rolling in, I'll increase the exposure slightly to 0.3 under. I've chosen this location as it's central over the various bridges and weirs. Beeleigh is one of my favourite places to fly and photograph, and I wish I could stay longer. But it's already started to rain, so I'll land the drone and head to dry climates. In the next part, you will need access to the DJI Flight app. Make sure your drone is switched on and your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are both activated on your mobile. Open the DJI Flight app and connect. Click View Album and select Photos straight away. This will save time loading the images. The sphere photo will appear with a globe icon in the bottom left to make it easier to find them. Let's select the first one and let it load. Once it has, click 360 Photo Viewer. It will display scroll as a default, showing the whole view. Because of the wind being quite intense, it hasn't lined up as well as I hoped. This is the biggest flaw with this mode, and it's always worth taking multiple shots to avoid this ruining the photo. If you own a VR headset or mobile equivalent, you can upload these photos and view in 360. If I press Planet, it will switch to a globe perspective. There are two options here. You can export as is and the clouds will look more realistic, or zoom in to make the globe have more detail but stretch the sky as a result. When navigating in Planet, try to scroll up or left and right on the screen to maintain the perspective. If you scroll down, it will begin to morph the image towards the vortex mode. If you are struggling, simply press Planet again to reset. This photo is unusable, but just to illustrate the next step, press Screenshot to save the current view to your mobile. Select Inverted and the perspective will shift. Imperfections are less noticeable in this view, even if the Planet version is unusable. If I zoom into the center, you can see there's a small area the Air 3 was unable to capture. This is because the gimbal was unable to look up as much as the Mini can. This is not an issue though, as it can be easily rectified in the edit. When navigating in this mode, scroll down or left and right, which is the opposite to the sphere version. Otherwise it will warp the other way. I'll rotate to find a decent composition. Click Screenshot to export. There is a globe option, but I have no idea what use this serves. If you do know, please let me know in the comments. When you are done with the photo, press X to return to the album. Lastly, let's get the images edited using Snapseed. I am not sponsored, but I've used this app throughout my career and it's a must for every photographer. I will be making a deeper dive to show its capabilities in the future, but for now, let's move on to the edit. Okay, so firstly, import the image to the Snapseed app. On the right hand side, there are preset options. Pop is quite useful for quick editing, as is Accentuate. But I'll leave those off for today. Press the pen icon to open the menu. The option we need for now is Tune Image in the top left. I'll adjust the levels quickly. That's looking good. Back to the main menu. As you can see, there's many options available, and it is worth exploring and experimenting. But for now, let's select Details, located next to Tune Image. Structure will add contrast, and I quite like the look. I always add a bit of sharpening as the images are quite soft. Lastly, let's crop the picture. 3:2 is what most cameras capture. 16:9 is the standard for panoramic landscape. 4:3 is what DJI drones shoot in as standard. Press the tick to confirm. I'll just reopen and perfect the framing. The trick here is to line up the globe so it's evenly spread over the lines. Let's look at the final image. Just before I finish the video, I'll show you how to fix the issue with the sky on the inverted versions. I'll skip the tune image part. On the main menu, click the healing option, which is third row down, third on the right. Zoom in on the sky and highlight the area affected. The tool is pretty good at nailing it first time, but if you aren't happy with it, undo and try again until you are. Let's skip the cropping phase. Here is the final image. And here are a few I've captured previously. If you have made it this far, it's much appreciated. If you enjoyed the video and found it helpful, please like and subscribe. Any questions or thoughts, please comment below. Links to time travel and HDR are on the screen now. Thanks again, take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.